Hello, dear learners. This is slangslang.com, your free English language class. Hello, viewers. The Big Bang Theory is the prevailing cosmological model for the universe from its earliest known period through subsequent large-scale evolution. Alright? No, my topic is not Big Bang Theory. There's just a sentence from Wikipedia and I'm trying to understand this sentence. You see, if you find this sentence difficult or easy, the Big Bang Theory is the prevailing cosmological model for the universe from its earliest known period through subsequent large-scale evolution. Viewers, this basic English learning course comprises 8 levels. From level 5, we will explicitly understand the difficult sentences. By the end of this lesson, I promise we will not understand the Big Bang Theory, but we will start making these large, messy sentences look simpler grammatically. This is langslang.com and I'm Asghar Syed. First thing first, if you don't have the idea of phrases as learned in previous 4 lesson videos, you may not be able to understand this lesson. So if you find that you don't understand this lesson, please watch those 4 videos first. Now come back to this sentence. If this sentence seems difficult to you, you can rule this sentence by dividing it into phrases. So first rule is to divide and rule. Let's divide it. The Big Bang Theory is the prevailing cosmological model for the universe from the earliest known periods through its subsequent large-scale evolution. Now see, it becomes a bit easier. Means I'm not saying that by dividing it into phrases you will be able to understand every word of it. What I'm saying is that when you divide it into phrases like subject, verb, object, complement or adverbial, it is far easier to find information in that. It is far easier to understand it exactly. Like after dividing this sentence into phrases, we know that this sentence is telling what the Big Bang Theory is. The Big Bang Theory is this. I know that the complement part is a bit longer. It is a bit longer. But in the last lesson, we have just learned that these prepositional phrases. So divide this complement into subphrases. Complement is one phrase, but to understand it, you can further divide it into subphrases, especially into prepositional phrases. Like divide this one. The Big Bang Theory is a model for the universe from earliest known periods through evolution. So see the sentence. Now you understand that Big Bang Theory is a model for universe from earliest known period through evolution. Can you feel it? Can you feel it that we just made it far easier? The trick worked. The trick would work if you are able to just handle the phrases of a sentence. When a sentence is larger and messier and for that you find it difficult, just divide it into phrases, subject, verb, object, complement, adverbial, and you will find it much easier to find information from there. For example, this sentence. An expert from Karachi darted the leopard with a sedative before letting it back into the wild. If you can't understand this sentence much, do this. An expert from Karachi darted the leopard with a sedative before letting it back into the wild. Now you know everything about this sentence. Where the expert came from? Yes, Karachi. What did he do? Yes, darted the leopard. What he used? A sedative. And then he let it into the wild. I again repeat that if you are not able to divide the sentence into phrases, please watch first these videos. And if you are able to do that, then please do this sentence. These frequent visitors are job seekers, so Mrs. Mary interviews them keenly as she has to send her recommendation to her boss. What is the subject? These frequent visitors. They are what? Job seekers. Who interviews? Mrs. Mary. Interviews whom? Them. Interviews how? Keenly. She has to send what? Her recommendations. To whom? Her boss. Wait, there are three verb phrases in this sentence. But we have learned that there is only one verb phrase in a clause. Why there are three? So was that wrong that there is only one verb phrase in a clause? Who told that? It was me. And I told right. There is only one verb phrase in a clause. And there are three clauses in this sentence. A sentence can have one or more clauses. And in this sentence, there are three clauses. How do you know how many clauses are there? Count the verbs. As many verb phrases are there, that many clauses are there in a sentence. But what is a clause? A clause is a part of sentence which has its own verb, and that verb has its subject and other phrases which adds meaning to that verb. These frequent visitors is the subject of are. Job seekers is the object of are. Mrs. Mary is not the subject of are, so it is in another clause. Them is not the object of are, so it is in another clause. The subject and object of are in one clause. The subject, object, and adverbial of interviews is in one clause. Likewise. So, in a sentence, as many verb phrases are there, that many clauses are there. So, a sentence can have one or more clauses, and a clause can have one or more phrases. Yes, a clause can have only one phrase, but that phrase should be a verb. Even if it is one word and that is a verb, it can be a sentence. For example, the sentence can be go. Only go can be a sentence because it is a clause. It has a clause and that clause has a verb, that is go. And it has complete meaning. So it is a sentence. But if you say please, that is not a sentence. Please is not a sentence. Go is a sentence. Go is a sentence because its clause, although have only one word, but that word is a verb. But please is not a clause because it does not have the verb. And when it is not having a verb, it is not a clause, not a sentence. What is that? That is an utterance. Please is an utterance. It is a spoken language. And when a sentence has more than one clause, you might see there are words called conjunctions which connect the clauses. For example, in this sentence, there are words like so and as. They are connecting these clauses. So when you find a sentence difficult just because it is large and you are not able to make anything of it, you can divide it into phrases. And if there are more than one clause, first divide into clauses and then divide into phrases. Let's do some examples together. Last day, our cashier informed you that we would accept only cash for this. I would always start this phrasing and clausing with verbs. And I would recommend you people also start always with verbs. So how many verbs are there? Two verbs, informed and would accept. So because there are two verb phrases, so there are two clauses. After dividing into clauses, divide into phrases. Who informed? Our cashier, that is the subject. Last day is a time adverbial, so it is an adverbial. And you is the answer of informed what? Informed whom? So it is an object. That is the conjunction because it is connecting the two clauses. And now coming to the second clause, who would accept? We would accept. So we is the subject and would accept what? Only cash. Because only cash is the answer of would accept what, so it is an object. For this is prepositional phrase, so it is an adverbial. Let's take another example from Wikipedia. Large, massive, difficult sentence again. The aqua alta occurs mainly between autumn and spring when the astronomical tides are reinforced by the prevailing seasonal winds and that hampers the usual reflux. First start with the verbs. How many verbs are there? There are 3 verbs, so there are 3 clauses. Now divided into phrases. What occurs? Aqua alta occurs, so that is the subject. And mainly between autumn and spring is a time adverb. When is the connection between the two clauses, so it is a conjunction. And come to the next verb, are reinforced. What are reinforced? The astronomical tides are reinforced, so that is the subject. By the prevailing seasonal winds, that is a prepositional phrase, so it is an adverbial. Next there is and, that is the conjunction between the two clauses. And come to the verb hampers. What hampers? That thing hampers, that is the subject. Okay, hampers what? Hampers the usual reflux. So because the usual reflux is the answer of hampers what, so it is an object. Yes, I know that by dividing any sentence into phrases and clauses, you will not be able to have the translation of every word in that. For example, if you don't know the words like prevailing or hamper or reflux, maybe even after dividing them into phrases and clauses, you will not get the translation of these words. But after dividing them into clauses and phrases, or by understanding the mechanics of these sentences, you will be in far better position to guess their meanings, number one. And number two, you can easily find the answers from these passages when you can understand the grammatical mechanics behind them. And if you see this sentence, it would make much more sense now than when you first saw it. Look at these and compare that. Now you are in a much easier position to make a sense of this sentence. What we have learned in this lesson? We have learned that those people who understand these difficult sentences very easily, actually they can perceive the grammatical phrases and clauses of a sentence very easily. So they understand the sentence easily. They don't take out a piece of paper and divide them into phrases and clauses. They may do this so easily because maybe they are native speakers and their brain, their mind is trained in their childhood in the cognition process, or maybe they have practiced the language so much that now their mind is trained for that. But if you are just a learner right now, you have to do the paperwork to start focusing your mind towards the grammatical mechanics of these sentences. So let's start, do the paperwork, and I'll be helping you with these sentences. We are doing some sentences to learn that. Let's practice. So let's start with a couple of easier examples. And our first example is this one. Here we have two verb phrases. One is told and one is did not recognize. Because there are two verb phrases, so there are two clauses. Now come to the first verb. Who told? I told. And The officer is the answer of told whom, so it is the object. Come to the second clause, and did not recognize. Who did not recognize? I. So I is the subject, and did not recognize what? Because any of them is the answer of did not recognize what, so it is an object. Coming to the next sentence. Here we have three verbs. First one is was, second is pretended, and third is met. Because there are three verbs, so there are three clauses, and these clauses are connected with the conjunction when and with the conjunction as if. Now come with the first verb. First verb is was. Who was? I was. So I is the subject, and I was how? I was shocked. Because this phrase is answering, shocked is answering, subject is how, so it is complement. Second verb, pretended, has only one phrase with it, and that is subject. Who pretended? He pretended, so that is the subject. Third verb, met. Who met? We met, so we is the subject. Never is the frequency adverb exactly, and before is a prepositional phrase. So these are adverbials. Come to the next example. Now here we have two verbs. One is knew. Who knew? I knew. So this is the first clause. And second, would come. Who would come? They would come. That is the subject, and it is the second clause. So these were three very easy examples to start with. Now we come to some large sentences which may seem difficult to junior learners. Large, messy, difficult. Coming to this. How many verbs are there? Make it simpler. How many verbs are there? There are two verbs. So simple. These are two clauses. One verb is was agreed, and second verb is would take over. Two clauses connected with that. Now, what was agreed? It was agreed. So it is the subject. It is the subject. On 6 March is a time adverbial. Under the National Counter-Terrorism Policing Network, it seems difficult to the junior learners, but simple. It is a prepositional phrase. Under is the preposition, and it is a prepositional phrase, so it is an adverbial. Now coming to the next thing, and that is would take over. Next verb is would take over. Who would take over? The counter-terrorism command within the Metropolitan Police, that would take over. So it is the subject. And would take over what? The investigation is the answer of would take over what. So it is object. And from is a prepositional phrase, from. So this phrase is an adverbial. Next example. Here again, although the sentence looks large, but there is only one verb. It is grammatically, it is a simple sentence, not a compound, not a complex, but a simple sentence because it has only one verb, and that is appealed. So there are no more than one clause. It is only one verb. No need to divide it into clauses. And who appealed? Assistant Commissioner, who is also the head of counter-terrorism policing. So Assistant Commissioner, head of counter-terrorism policing is the subject. And for witness to incidents, for, starting with the preposition for, so that is a prepositional phrase. And again, there is a prepositional phrase that is following a COBR meeting. So that phrase is also an adverbial. Next sentence is also a large one. Yes, there's a large one, and we have three verbs there. Can you find these three verbs? Three verbs are there. And all three are actions. First action is deployed, were deployed to assist. First verb is were deployed to assist. Second action verb is to remove. And third is also an action verb, that is look. So these are three verbs. So three verbs means three clauses. Okay, now start with the first verb, were deployed to assist. Who were deployed to assist? Military experts and 18 vehicles. Military experts in chemical warfare, defense and decontamination, as well as 18 vehicles. Now, look how easy it becomes when you phrase them, when you phrase and clause them. You can easily find the answers. If it is a reading passage or if you are reading for comprehension, you can easily find answers. Who were deployed to assist? Military experts and 18 vehicles. And military expert in chemical warfare, defense and decontamination. Not all the military experts. So it becomes a very sensible sentence for you, for a junior learner who is reading a longer or larger sentence which otherwise seems messy to them. So this is why we are doing this practice. Come back to this. We found the subject, and the first phrase is immediately after. Immediately after is a time adverb, and were deployed to assist whom. There is the answer of that, and that is the Metropolitan Police, because Metropolitan Police is the answer of were deployed to assist what, whom. So it is an object. Next verb is to remove. To remove what? Vehicles and objects. So that is the object. This phrase is object, and from the scene is a prepositional phrase, that is an adverbial. Next verb is look, and there is a prepositional phrase afterward, and that is an adverbial. You can see that in the second and third clause there is no subject apparently, because it is not our topic. There are known subject in your mind, but not apparently there is a subject. It doesn't matter right now. So these are the three clauses, and this is how we phrase and clause this sentence. Come to the next. Now in this sentence, you find how many verbs. Although this sentence again look very large, but it also has only one verb, so it is also a simple sentence grammatically. Simple, when we say simple, it means it is not a compound, not a complex. So it is a simple sentence because it has only one verb, and that verb is has received. Only one verb. And when you phrase this sentence, it looks so simple. For example, who has received? One of the world's highest paid actresses in 2015, Anne Hathaway, received. So that is the subject. Anne Hathaway is the main subject, and there is a complement within that phrase, and that is she is the one of the world's highest paid actresses in 2015. So one of the world's highest paid actresses in 2015, Anne Hathaway, is the subject. And she has received what? Has received what? There is the answer of that in the next phrase, so that is an object. What she has received multiple awards, including Academy Award, a Golden Globe, a British Academy Film Award, a Primetime Emmy. So this is all object because these answers has received what. Coming to the next sentence. How many verbs can you see here? There are two similar verbs, and one verb is are very commonly seen, and second verb is are commonly seen. These are two verb phrases, so there are two clauses. Students, remember that why we are making our very commonly seen one phrase. Mainly, very commonly is a phrase, and that is an adverbial phrase. But because we are learning, we are practicing that something which is grouped together is one phrase, so we are doing it like that, and we are making it one phrase because they are grouped together here and they are performing one function as a verb, so we are doing it. We are doing it only with the adverbial, that they are coming in between the verb. If you were in advanced stage, we would have separated very commonly and are seen in a different way. But no need to worry about that. Our topic is to understand a difficult sentence and make it simpler grammatically, and this will do. If you will make one grouped phrase as one phrase, that is fine. So come back to this. We are saying that are very commonly seen is one phrase. And who are very commonly seen? They are very commonly seen. Very commonly seen how? They are very commonly seen perched along roadside trees and wires. They are seen how? Because it is the answer of subject is how, so it is a complement. It is about bird. This sentence is about birds. If you don't know the meaning of verb of this word perched, no problem. Right now we are not going to understand the meaning of the words. We are trying to understand what phrase is doing what, so we can guess the meaning. Now they are very commonly seen perched along roadside trees and wires. And next verb is again are commonly seen. Commonly seen where? The next phrase is a place adverb, and it is a prepositional phrase, so it is an adverbial. I think these are sufficient examples, at least enough for me. Now you will do these same sentences yourself again, the same sentences that I helped you. You will be doing the same sentences again yourself, and we will do more examples later on. Bye here.
Question number 1. Question number 2. Question number 3. Question number 4. Question number 5. Question number 6. Question number 7. Question number 8. Question number 9. Question number 10.
This is slangslang.com, your free English language class.